friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu leshalom, ve'ha'amidenu shomreinu lechayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu leshalom, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu leshalom, ve'ha'amidenu shomreinu lechayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu leshalom, Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Ve'ha'amidenu, Shomreinu lechayim. Ufros aleinu, Sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
Find out. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Temple B'nai Israel. It's great to see everyone here this evening as we celebrate Shabbat and as we kick off Liam's Bar Mitzvah weekend. We're really excited for him, for the family, loved ones, all who are here. It's really a special moment in time. Not so excited, Xander? We have our prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah, which you'll find in your seat pocket in front of you, which will help us guide our service. A couple quick reminders for those who are in attendance, but before we do that, by the way, Shabbat Shalom to everyone in streaming land. Glad to have you with us whoever you are viewing the service tonight at home, Shabbat Shalom and welcome. For those of us here, a reminder that we do have our COVID protocols, that we have masks on at all time during the service. While we're in the synagogue building, we're to keep our masks on. And our other reminder, which is not a fun reminder, I understand, but right now, due to an abundance of caution, we are not having communal singing during the service. And so it's going to be a little bit more contemplative, a little bit more of listening when the cantor is singing. But as we've learned during this time, we can do other things while we are sitting here together and praying that aren't singing. We can clap, we can snap, we can body percuss, whatever you'd like in order to have some joy and energy in this moment.
But don't body percuss your neighbor.
No, don't do that. It's probably the best
checking.
idea. Maybe the wave or something we can have during the service. That'd be very nice. So with all of that said, let's turn to our neighbors, our loved ones, our friends, our community members, and say Shabbat Shalom!
Shabbat Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bohem Shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malchei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zamru l'Adonai Bechino, Bechino, Bechol Zimra. 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 Zamru l'Adonai Bechino, Bechino, Bechol Zimra.
Let's now turn in our prayer book to page 120 and 121. Kabbalat Panim, we welcome Shabbat with the lighting of candles. We now call to come forward Rebecca Teeter to kindle the Shabbat lights, and Raymond Gross and Gerald Rutberg for Kiddush. Long-time running buddies, I've heard. You are first. All rise together.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Eloheinu melech olam, borei pari hagofen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'yavo u'bratzonin chaltonu, zocher v'lemachase b'reishis, hu yom techila, l'mikroei kodesh, zecher l'tzichon mitzroyim, kivanu v'charta, v'yasanu kida asha, mikohamim, v'shabas kodsha, v'ahava u'bratzon inchaltonu, baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh hashabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. Oh, my pleasure. Okay, let's take our seats. Shikoch to everybody. Let's turn to page 138 as we welcome the Shabbat bride, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Kabbalah. Shamor v'zachor v'tipor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem ultiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Kabbalah. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'necha, ki hi mekor habracha. Meirosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nai Shabbat, B'nai Kabbalah. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orek umi ori. Uri, uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai, Allah likrat kala yalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela boi v'shalom atere ba'ala gam v'simcha u'v'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Let's remain standing as we turn to page 145 on the bottom of the page. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. On the next page, the Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai.
Let's take our seats.
So, Rabbi, I was thinking about this as I was driving in the rain tonight, that what a rainy world it seems. And I think so often, we're often seeing the stuff that makes our lives challenging about the world. And with Ma'ariv Aravim, this prayer that makes us look at creation and remind ourselves that we need to remember to see the wonder and to see the wonderfulness around us. So that's my challenge for us tonight as we deal with the rain, that we are reminded that, in fact, this world around us is quite wonderful. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Shani אני שר לעצמי איזה אחלה עולם. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. והיום כה יפה וקלי כל כך, לומר שאני אוהב אותה. השמיים חולים, ענן הוא לבן, והבוקר בהיר, ובלילה בשן, אחלום לעצמי, איזה אחלה עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. Yes, I think to myself. Let's say it together. What a wonderful world.
It's now my pleasure to call to come forward Liam Teeter, who's going to lead us in Shema and Via Hafta. We're on page 152, and let's rise together.
Okay. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malhuto, Leolam Va'ed. Okay.
Please be seated. 1, 2, 3, go.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תשכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Yasher Koach, what a beautiful job leading us in prayer. If you like the evening, tomorrow's the matinee at 10:30. Let's turn to page 157. In the middle of the page, we can pray responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. Together?
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did,
Singing on the shores of the sea. Next page, Mi Chamocha, Song of Our Redemption.
Mi chamocha, Elohim Adonai. Mi chamocha, Nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha, Elohim Adonai. Mi chamocha,
On page 160, a prayer that asks God to spread the shelter of peace over all of us to protect us from all harm. Hashkivenu.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Ehamidenu, Shomrenu Lechayim. Ufros Aleinu, Sukat Shlomecha. Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
On page 162, we rejoice in the gift that is Shabbat with Vishamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat, la'asot et hashabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini ubein b'nei Yisrael, b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat, la'asot et hashabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat, la'asot et hashabbat ledorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et hashabbat, la'asot et hashabbat ledorotam berit olam.
We're on page 164 and 165. In an envelope marked personal, God addressed me a letter In an envelope marked personal, I have given my answer. We're going to rise for the Amidah HaTefilah. We're going to rise together. A little bit different tonight. We're actually going to speak the Amidah. We're going to say it together in the Hebrew, starting on page 164. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. On the next page, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibur, v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, Lima'an Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, page 168. Atah Gibur Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol Ata, Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofe Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Kayem Emunato Lishene Afar, Mi Kamocha Baal Givurot, Umi Domelach, Melech Memit Chaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Ata L'Hachayot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye Hakol. On page 170, Ata Kadosh, V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. On page 175, in the middle of the page, let's read together. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha ba'ira na'avod. On page 178, a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael amta, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amta, tasim le'olam.
we take a few moments to find that place within us that brings us peace. When we close our eyes, what do we see? Right now, I'm seeing Camp Coleman, that place that brings so many of us in this room, our peace, our home. We take a few moments. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Be Roma. Oh, say shalom. Be Roma. Huya ase shalom. Huya ase shalom. Huya ase shalom. Alleluia. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May we find peace. May the one who makes peace bring peace down.
Let's turn now in our prayer books to page 371. We take a moment, we think of our loved ones, our community, we think of our country, we think of the world, we think of all who are in need of healing at this time. Healing of the body, the mind, and in these troubled times, the spirit. We're going to continue with this prayer of healing, asking God to give us that complete healing of body, mind, and spirit that we so need.
Mi shebera avotedu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say,
we are thinking of at this time and wishing a refuah shlema to David Altner, Sydney Altner, Evan Bin, Laura Carlos, Mark Edelstein, Mickey Edelstein, Benjamin Edelstein, and Brian Edelstein, Danielle Heyman Feist, Linda Fine, Eric Fisk, Albert Gart, Bob Gold, Buddy Green, Vicky Hano, Kevin Harris, Lori Cattleman, Jerry Klein and Bonnie Brzezowski, Hank Corin, Wendy Sugarman Krasnoff, Dr. Sonia Linke, Michael Lynch, Elsa Mikosh, Dolores Munsick, Ruth Poehler, Jane Rifkin, Jess Rifkin, Don Rolander, Rhoda Ross, Liesl Schick, Michelle Schorsch, Bob Seiler, Jane Solomon, Stuart Solomon, Dr. Cindy Steinman, Pete Tanner, Michael Vereb, Marcia Weinberg, and Dr. Drew Weissman. If you are thinking of somebody at this time that you are thinking of who is in need of healing, please speak their name as my eyes meet yours.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This week's Torah portion, Shoftim, which Liam will teach us about tomorrow, centers on the idea of justice and jurisprudence. I know we have some lawyers and judges in the sanctuary tonight, so it seemed fitting to share with you this story about a matter of justice which takes place not on earth, but in the heavenly court. There was a wealthy man who lived in Eastern Europe. Not a particularly good man, not a particularly bad man. However, it is fair to say that he lived for himself. He wasn't overly concerned with other people, concerned about the community. At the end of his life, his soul came before the heavenly court, where his life was to be judged. A large pair of scales occupied the center of the court. On one scale, all of the man's good deeds he performed during his life were piled up. On the other side, all of the bad deeds, all of the thoughtless and negative behaviors, that's where they were collected. Everyone in the heavenly court watched with great anxiety and increasing fear as the scales began to lift and to tilt. It quickly became clear the scales were not even close to balancing. They were tilting substantially towards the negative, an outcome that would result in sentencing the wealthy man's soul to condemnation and punishment. As he watched the teetering scales, the defending angel attorney grew increasingly anxious. He turned to the soul of the wealthy man. "Can you think of anything?" he asked. "Maybe there's something we've overlooked. Perhaps there's some good deed or something that you have done that you've forgotten about. Think, think." The scales came to a halt, and just as the defending angel had feared, the scales holding the negatives far outweighed the scales holding the positives. The soul of the wealthy man shrieked. "Think hard. There must be something, some other good deed you can add," the angel attorney pleaded. "Oh my, yes," said the soul. "About 25 years ago, I was going through the forest in my horse and carriage. My driver and I were fairly deep into the forest when we came upon a very swampy land. It was quicksand. As we rode by, we heard people screaming. Then we noticed a horse and buggy and a family. They were trapped. Apparently, the horse had stumbled into the swamp, and very slowly, everyone was being sucked into the quicksand, and no one could get out. But the truth is, I wasn't really paying much attention. It was my driver who took notice and turned to me and said, 'These people are in trouble. Would you mind if I stopped to help them?' I guess that's why I didn't immediately remember the incident," the soul of the wealthy man exclaimed. "I told my driver that he could stop. The family was thoroughly stuck, and the more they struggled to get out of the sand, the deeper they sank. My driver offered to help them, but it was clear he alone could not rescue them. The driver remarked the only way he could get these people out was by attaching a rope from our horse and buggy to their horse and buggy and seeing whether we could pull them to safety. And so we attached a rope, and we pulled, and we pulled, and we managed to get the family out. Once the family was rescued, we drove on." The defense angel was so excited he almost took flight. He turned to the heavenly court. "Did you hear that? Do you realize what this man did?" he asked. "That family was stuck. They might have been sucked down into the mud and dragged down. They probably would have drowned, been permanently lost. But this man, along with his driver, well, this man saved their lives." The prosecuting angel didn't care for this argument. He objected. The man didn't think of it. It was his driver. It wasn't a deep decision he made. Because it was a thoughtless decision that sort of just happened, it shouldn't count. It shouldn't be added to the positive side of the scale. That was his argument. But of course, the judge, to think it over a little bit, mull, contemplate, cogitate a little bit, he ruled to the contrary. So the weight of the newly explained good deed was assigned to the scale, holding on to the other good deeds. And the balance at first tilted in a big way. But when the weight of the other side reasserted itself, after all, it was only one act that had been added to the other side of the scale, the balance began to tilt again. No good, no dice. "One moment here," the defense angel argued. "We haven't given the proper weight to this deed. It wasn't just a casual act of saving a life. This man saved a whole family, and I demand the entire weight of the family be thrown onto the scale to more accurately reflect the value of the act." Sure enough, an angel in the court threw the weight of the family onto the scale. This act caused the scales to bounce. But as the scales righted themselves, the scale holding the bad deeds began to sink slowly, down, down, down. The defense angel, getting desperate. "Wait! Before you condemn this man, I want to point out he didn't just save the family. The horse and buggy, they were saved too. They would have been in the quicksand. Let's add their weight too to the scale." The prosecuting angel again objected, but the judge overrules, so they throw the weight of the horse and the buggy onto the scale. Now the scales bounced again in a huge way. The scale holding the good deeds went all the way up and down, but then once again, when it came to a rest, didn't quite make it. The bad deeds were still heavier. The defense angel, crestfallen, asks for a pause. begins to think, and then says, "The real weight," the angel began, formulating again his thoughts. To get the real weight of the good deed, we need to think about the mud that was attached to the buggy that was weighing it down. Think of all that pulling, the energy, the effort, the sweat of the exertion. That's part of the weight of this deed too. At this point, the prosecuting angel didn't even bother to object as he watched the angel throw the weight of the exertion onto the scale. And lo and behold, that did it. The balance tilted down on the side of positive judgment, and that is where it remained. The soul and the defense angel celebrated, and all in attendance, they stood in wonder, understanding the importance of even one good deed. My friends, as we enter into the sacred month of Elul, a time before the new year when we reflect upon our deeds, let us never forget the power of our actions. We have the ability to create so much good in the world through our efforts, as together we struggle and strive to build a more equitable, more just, more compassionate world. Let us always remember that even one good deed, one moment we go above and beyond for someone else, one time when we exert ourselves to the benefit of the community, can change our lives and the lives of those we help. My friends, the opportunity to repair the world, to fashion a new future, stands before us every day. The choice is ours as to what kind of society we wish to create. Let us never miss the chance to perform a good deed, for who knows, maybe it is that deed that will transform our world for the better and create a brighter future for us all. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn now to page 586 as we rise together for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tik gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu kore'im u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz, bayom hahu yihiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
We're on page 597. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We are in the Shloshim period for the memory of Lily Singer, grandmother of Lynn Safriel, great-grandmother to Rachel, Sarah, and Abigail. We're also remembering this evening Shelley Foreman, sister of Manny Ramey, spouse Renee. Myron Pulfrey, uncle of Joe and Heather Kaufman, and great-uncle to Nico Kaufman. Robert Sheldon, my cousin, and Ralph Katz, a dear friend of mine. We're also thinking of at this moment those who have passed away during this last year. Solomon Bloom, Max Schmid, Louis Lederer, Deborah Nader, Ted Ross, Helen Roth, Ruth Jean Oberlander, Mark Enfinger, Alan Beer, Judy Guy Strickland, Carolee Pizzuti, Elaine Miller, Ethan Perry, Judy Fine, Beverly Rosen, Adele Daniels, Robert Pizzuti. And we also think of those who have passed away during this time, this season, in past years. The yurtzites this week: Louis Altman, Madge Auerbach, George Barr, Anita Bodler-Benowitz, Blanche Berkowitz, Maurice Brickman, Larry Cody, Hoyd J. Cohn, Clarence Coleman, Alvin Edelstein, Esther Eisenstein, Sarah Applebaum-Gastel, Michael Giladi, Deidre Moriff-Gilmore, Beatrice Glass, Edwin Jacobson, Myrna Jaffe, Samuel Casper, Charles Kirstein, Fanny Coronis, David Lefkowitz, Dina Levin, Betty P. Levy, Jacob Matz, Robert Newmark, James Pollock, Edith Poehler, Solomon Reisner, Harry Robert Ripson, Michael Radetsky, Betty Seidman, Sam Smirnow, Henry Ira Smiler, Molly Stone, Yetta Tollering, Max Dekelich, and Sam Verona. Is anyone else observing a yurtzeit saying Kaddish for any reason? Please speak their names. As one community, we rise together, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. We pray together. Yit Gadal, V'yit Gadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach Cherutei V'yamlich Malchutei, B'chayechon Uvyomechon Uv'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, B'gala V'zman Kari V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam L'olmei Olmaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitraman V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmed Kudesha B'richu, Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata, Tush B'chata V'nechemata, Da'amiran B'alma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, and all over the world. Together we say Amen. Please be seated. I think for announcements, we're on our own this week, looking at our crowd. So, next week, we have a really special Shabbat service. Of course, we're going to celebrate with Gabe and his family, the Blacksburgs, as Gabe becomes a bar mitzvah next week. We also have our Welcome Home Shabbat. It's going to be a really fun musical service. It's going to be a little different than we had planned because of the situation, but it still should be really nice with some activities outside after the service, and it should be a really nice evening. And of course, not to jump ahead, tomorrow we have Liam's bar mitzvah, and so that's going to be really special, really wonderful to celebrate with Liam and his family. So really a great 2 weeks of simcha, and as we say in Texas, boy howdy, we need it. So we'll take it. We'll take some simcha. And really, other than that, we have Slichot coming up on the 28th? 28th, thank you. A really special moment. It's really a time, as I mentioned in Elul, we think about our deeds. We also think about how we can change. And part of the symbol at this season is that we change the mantles of the Torah covers from their usual adornments to their white vestments, the white mantles that we put on. It's a really, I think, powerful service, a really symbolic moment that represents the beginning of the high holiday season. It's really sort of the kickoff. So Slichot's going to be on the 28th. We're starting at 7 p.m. Thank you. 7 p.m., and then 8 o'clock will be the service. At 7 o'clock, we're going to have a really cool program all around the synagogue. We're going to have little stations set up to give everyone a little taste, a little bissel of TBI while we're here, all the things that we've missed over the past year. It's going to be a really great program. A lot of volunteers are giving of their time to create this experience. So 7 o'clock, the start of the program, 8 o'clock, the start of the service. And then before you know it, it's the high holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. And so our sacred season is upcoming. We're really excited, and we think it's going to be a really meaningful experience for all. With all of that said, we're going to conclude our service with a little motzi. I want to make a special note that Aunt Vicky made the challah this evening. So thank you to Aunt Vicky for this beautiful challah, which we are going to bless presently.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And now a little Adon Olam.
That's where we're ending things.
That's
tonight.
where we're
A
ending
little
things.
Adon
Let's all
Olam.
rise together in song. The cantor's going to lead us in Adon Olam, and then afterwards we have, I believe, a little oneg in the social hall. Yes? To go. A to-go neg. In the lobby. Thank you.
And for those cautious, my aunt is a high-level nurse, so that was made with all COVID precautions taken into consideration.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
COVID-friendly challah. Welcome to the 21st century. Adon Olam, everyone. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra le'et nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra de'acharei hitlot hakol levado yimloch nora vehu haya vehu hoveh vehu yiyeh b'tifara vehu echad ve'en sheni להמשיलो, להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה. והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור הבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא. בידו אפקיד רוחי ועת אישן ואעירה, ואם רוחי גוויעתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thanks to Pete Tanner in the booth, and Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Enjoy. I need a radio sign off. Indeed.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat.